Ready? Here we go.
Different points of view and highs and lows. A new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind, drown out the noise, and see if this connected. And see if this connected.
What's up, fam? The mission of this Connected podcast is to connect generations and situations about faith, life, and whatever comes along the way. To not necessarily agree, but be listened to. These conversations, of course, highlight the perspective of our various guests, and you are always welcome to agree or even disagree. But as always, we hope that it is done in charity. Now, here's your host, Catholic.Dad.
Welcome back, fam. Welcome to This Connected podcast. And today in the Seek the Summit series on our 5th year of the podcast, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to, again, I love doing these episodes on couples because who does not want a Hallmark couple episode? So here we have two very special people. You know, I meet most of my people through social media. I meet them through Instagram. I meet them through occasions where I go give a talk. And this time around, that's the same way. This is where I met these two people. And they're going to introduce themselves. And their names are Julio and Isabella. And we're going to have a conversation about what they're doing about our theme for this year, which is Seek the Summit. So, friends, and fam. English is my second language. I want you guys to welcome. Look at these two. Look at that. Look at that. This is Isabella and Julio, or Julio and Isabella. One of you guys is Julio, and one of you guys is Isabella. As most people say, Arnell, shut up. You're ranting, because I rant when I'm nervous. But introduce yourselves. Age, where you go to school, things like that. Things you want to tell or want to share with our family out there. He's like, gentlemen, ladies first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I'm Isabella, as you know.
There you go.
I am 19. I am a creative writing major at UC Riverside and hoping to minor in marketing as well. And yeah. I don't know if we should say how long we've been dating or anything like that yet. I don't know. But
you said from UCR?
From UCR. Yeah, UC Riverside.
University of California, Riverside.
Yes. We are in California.
Yeah. What's your guys' like mascot?
Highlanders.
A bear?
A bear?
Scotty the bear.
Yeah.
Wait, Highlanders?
The Highlanders.
The Highlanders, and your mascot is a
bear.
Bear?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be like a Scotsman or...
Well, they do have...
He's got a kilt.
Yeah.
A bear with a kilt.
A bear with a kilt.
Yeah, and a lot of things are just R related, like, yeah, just everything R. And then, just put it like instead, like McDonald's, it's Muck. Everything here, it's R. R web.
Our cards, our everything,
and it's Highlander. Like that, and they have
that's more of the Riverside though.
But everything is like with plaid and things like that for the Scottish vibe.
Okay.
Tartan
song.
Yeah.
Right.
Fam, this is how new relationships start, and this is how they are when you get older as well. It's like ranting conversations.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Look, they're already ranting conversations.
That's like how our personalities blend so well together.
So Julio.
Yes.
Who's Julio?
That is I. I am him. So I'm Julio. I recently graduated in March. March of with the degree in philosophy at UCR, which is where I met.
That's why I have such a difficult time talking to you. He's a philosophy major.
No, and then the kicker is I just got accepted, thanks be to God, to Holy Apostles College. I'll be starting in January 8th for my master's in philosophy, but systematic philosophy.
Systematic philosophy. Isabel, is that a fear for you? Is that where? Do you have to go somewhere?
It's online.
It's online.
It's online.
It's online.
So that's nice. Either way, it would all work out. But
yeah, so it's online and asynchronous, which I kind of am a bit not too excited for because I like interacting with people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be watching it. But the good thing is I can watch it on my own time. So I make my own schedule and I can still be working. But yeah, I work at an elementary school where I help out kids who kind of struggle with English. So, like there's one who's from Venezuela, and then and I work with, kindred through 5th grade is who I help.
That's super cool. I loved working with kids, and but the kids that I worked with weren't really kids when I was working with them because they were developmentally disabled individuals who were like in their 50s and 60s, but they were like kids, big kids that can hurt you, but best people to work with. I just had a reunion with people who used to work there. It's amazing, and I guess that's fulfilling. Is that something that you're going to be pursuing later as in the teaching career?
Yeah, but it'd be more toward the older demographic because I want to go through the professor route.
Okay. And
either whether that be at a community college or at a university. Because initially my plan was to go to university so I could, in a similar way to how Jordan Peterson, it has such a big impact on people, but I'd be like a Catholic.
He said the JP word. Now we're going to get canceled. I'm just kidding.
Lobsters.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
He just outed himself. Yeah. Sorry, folks. No, but that's super cool. Getting that out there and actually pursuing something that you're dreaming of and desiring instead of, something that's like, oh, I'm just going to go out and work.
Yeah.
But this is something that interests you.
Yeah.
And I can't see you teaching 2nd and 3rd graders, philosophy and
I try.
Systematic philosophy.
I definitely try. It was like, well, you guys see this paper has substance and form, and then
they're like,
Mr. A, can I go to the bathroom?
It's like substance and form, like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Toilet paper.
And I don't know, no bathroom talk, but it's just to be like a witness. So my goal would be to teach at a public university, hopefully, to then people will see oh, okay, he's Catholic and he's not unreasonable, and then be kind of like a witness like that.
In going to the university, UCR, sometimes I feel like, in the universities that are within our area, you'll always see you'll hear UCR, and then you'll see CSU, Cal State San Bernardino, and at times I look at that and say, okay, that UCR has always been deemed the more conservative leaning university, versus Cal State San Bernardino is the more progressive-leaning university. Is that true?
If that's the case, San Bernardino must be really
so you're saying that even UCR, I mean, looking at Newman Centers and things like that, you're saying that UCR still is a very not conservative.
No, not really. No.
Yeah.
Remember the religious department chair? That's you just see a lot. So they have the posters and things like that, and you walk around campus and you'll see something like Planned Parenthood and come get this or whatever, and it's very the clubs that are promoted. And slowly I do feel the Newman clubs and certain clubs are speaking out a bit more. So there are conservative groups on campus that are kind of out there, but usually the louder voices are the more liberal sides.
Okay.
But one of the big, I feel progress for us, the students at UCR, has been the addition of Father Gino, because he's, I feel like he relates to us a lot, and he's just very energetic, and he's willing. He goes out there while people are tabling, and he's, I think he has a sign that says "Catholic priest ready to hear confession." So sometimes you're on campus and people are handing out papers so you could donate to something for them, and then you keep walking and there's a table with the priest where you could get confession. So
has he ever seen that and someone's passing it out and he just pops up his stool and just sits right there and says, "Ready to hear confessions," or does he have a designated space that he has to go to?
Not that he has to go to, but I guess we are confined to the space that we were allotted for tabling. So he's just confined to where the CSF tables.
Because that would be funny.
He could walk around. I mean,
he does walk around.
It's a public university. He
people
could walk around
go
and do what he wants.
and then he walks with them somewhere, so it's more secluded, so they can have confession. And then, like I got to see where there was a girl confessing, and then after, like, you can see her face of relief afterward.
That's such a beautiful thing that is available and it's accessible, because there are certain universities that don't have that or are not open to that, and even Catholic universities that you don't see. But you were going to say, well, what's your profession? I mean,
right now at least I'm a supplemental instructor at UCR. So
what the heck is that?
I know, yeah.
Is that like
really
vitamins or supplements?
No, but
she goes steroids.
It's quite literally for a class. So I do for political science, which is really funny because I'm a creative writing major. But for world politics, it's kind of the function of a TA in that I hold little sessions outside of the lecture time for additional activities to help them engage more with the material if they're not understanding something. Except there's no, I don't grade anything. It's just kind of like tutoring, but for a group. Yeah. So that's what I do for the college.
You do like twice a week, right? Your sessions?
Yeah, my sessions are twice a week at the same time. Yeah.
So when you do this, is it something that's like, oh, she's the Catholic girl?
No. I don't think that
It has definitely helped you with your coworkers.
Oh, this is true. Yeah, some of my coworkers are Catholic, and I found that out when I was having lunch, and I prayed over my food, and my coworker was like, "Oh yeah, me too." I was like, we finished. I was like, "Are you Catholic?" And so I made a lot of really cool connections through my work with that. So amongst my coworkers, yeah, I could definitely see myself viewed if they know me as a Catholic person, and it's not something that I hide among them. But of course, when I'm at work, I'm more focused on the material than talking about myself or anything like that. But yeah.
I always find it interesting that when other people see that you're open about your faith, that they feel a little bit more courageous to do something. I find it that a lot of times people don't want to be the first. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And that gives them the strength to just like, oh, I'm going to do that too because I saw Isabella doing it, so I'm not alone.
Yeah.
So I think, I really think that more people, if they see that and people witness to other people that, hey, I'm also a Christian. And then it encourages, and I think that's what allows it to grow. It's kind of like, at churches that don't kneel anymore because they don't remember and they don't know. They think, oh, we're not supposed to kneel anymore. And they see young people and young adults, and they're like, why are they kneeling? It's just, do you still do that? Like, yeah. But there's no kneelers. Doesn't matter. And they still do. And then you start seeing more and more people do it because they're not alone.
Yeah.
And I also believe that's a lot of times why people end up doing certain things that are against the faith, because they just see people that they look up to or they admire, and it's like, well, they do it, so it must be okay.
Yeah.
So that's the hard thing, and which is a great way for us to go to our conversation, which this year we're talking about our theme, which is on our new sticker, which is, what was it?
New sticker.
Yeah, new stickers.
Stickers are cool.
Oh my gosh, no, hold on.
It's somewhere
I'll
around
show
here.
later.
The new stickers, which is Seek the Summit. So everything about the series, and I'm hoping, there's not much change, but what I want people, our guests, to talk about, what I'll be talking about each time that I do the podcast by myself, is how are we seeking the summit? And a lot of people are like, well, what's the summit? And we all know that, the summit is the source and summit of our faith, which is the Eucharist. And in John chapter 1, verse 38, Jesus turned around and looked at John, beloved disciple, Andrew, and said, where are you going? Or whom do you seek? What do you seek? and they said, "Where are you staying?" So that's the whole goal. And at the end, I'm going to ask you, what is it that you are seeking? You know, and this thing that I'm going to ask you about, because this is really cute. I mean, you guys are cute. Who doesn't like Hallmark situations? So you guys, obviously, if you guys didn't know, these two are a couple. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Couple. Look. Couple. Look at the camera.
Hi.
Look. Catholic couple. So Catholic couple podcast.
Catholic couple podcast.
A Catholic couple podcast. You know, what are you seeking? You know, there are a couple of things that I always want to ask. You know, the things that were asked of me when my wife and I were dating. Mm-hmm. So we've been married 27 years, longer than both of you have been alive. So, you know, how did you guys meet?
Oh my goodness.
You should go first with the first, because you saw me before I saw you.
What? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So
you want to say that where we met at the retreat, and then
yeah, let's do that. You start with how you were feeling going into retreat.
Yeah. So it was November 19th.
November 19th.
November 19th, we had this retreat that was initially going to be like a 3-day retreat, but due to, honestly, I'll own up to it, a lot of it was because I was president at the time, and like organization was just a bit difficult, so we ended up doing a 1-day retreat, which I was like, well, okay, at least we'll have a 1-day retreat. But I was already starting to feel effects of like burnout. So I get there, and then people were kind of upset with me because I got there kind of late. And I was just like, well, you know, I'm just going to go through this, kind of try to have my best attitude. I really hope that in groups, I don't have to interact with anyone new. I don't want to interact with anyone new. And, like, if they're new, I hope, like, it's a guy who, like, likes country music, and I could just, like, you know, bond over that. And then I go and I see, okay, your table is so-and-so. And I go, and I'm like, dang it. There's, like, 3 new people. And one of them was Isabella.
Dang.
And then, well, of course, I was a little nervous. I was like,
No.
Yeah, I was nervous.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, and I was nervous. I was like, oh, she's cute. But I was really invested.
Cute girls always make you nervous.
Mm-hmm. So I was just like, hi, what's the name of your...
Name?
Yeah, you know, how old is your name? And then I was just like that. But I was also very invested with, like, the retreating things. And so it was just kind of like a digging the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently she had seen me the day before.
Yes. So
what?
It's very, very funny.
She was stalking me.
Okay,
it was all a plan.
It was not stalking.
She actually made the groups and everything.
Don't worry, you guys. Don't freak out.
I got there just right on time. It was perfect.
No, at UC Riverside, they have, like once a quarter, I think, we're on the quarter system, they have these concerts where there's maybe like 3 artists that come and perform, and big events for the undergrads. And my roommate and I, we were going to it, and there was a line to get in, and
Long line.
a very long line. And I saw him in that line. He was right in front of me, actually, in that line. And
I did not know that.
he did not know.
Typical guy. Oblivious.
And it's funny because he was with 3 people who I now know. His
my
brother, and then 2 of our friends from CSF. It was they were going as...
And my brother was the reason I was there.
Yeah, and his brother was the reason he was there, because there was an artist performing that he liked. And I remember walking down from the dorms, and I was pretty much behind you the entire way, walking to get to the line. Stalking, yeah, I stalked him. No. This is actually a true crime podcast, you guys. You're wrong. But I it's gonna sound really, really cheesy, but I thought he was super cute, and I remember thinking that I was like, wouldn't that be so funny if that guy became my boyfriend one day? Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I do remember thinking that. It's super cheesy, but it's also very true. And then I saw him the next day because I got there late to the retreat, and that was the first Newman event that I had ever been to.
You got there late?
I got there late because
Oblivious.
I got there after her. Imagine how late I was then.
No, but I had mapped myself to... I just typed in St. Andrews on Google Maps, and there was like an Orthodox church the entire opposite direction that I walked to, 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And so then I had to walk all the way back.
Oh, you walked it.
I didn't have a car then. And yeah, so then I walked in, and then I remember looking to the right, and I saw you standing there, and I recognized you immediately, and I looked away so fast because I was scared you were going to recognize me. But you didn't recognize me.
As a stalker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As a stalker. That was so funny,
it. I
though.
was
But
like,
I
wow,
saw
she's
him
good.
the night before,
Yeah.
which was really ironic.
And that was the kind of like, that's just how we met. And it was just, I think it's really funny because.
But you didn't really meet. I'm
Well,
listening to this. You guys didn't meet. You guys just basically stalked each other.
No, this is why.
She stalked you, and you're like, you would have been
and I was
dead.
okay with it. I was okay with it.
Yeah, if this was true crime,
Yeah.
he would have already been dead because he was oblivious to the fact that there
This
was a
is true.
stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's just very good at what she does. Sometimes I answer things, she's like pinching me right here. No, but it was like one of those things where you look back and it's like you get to see how God's working in your life. Because, so like I met you at the One Life walk. You gave me a sticker. And
I got those stickers.
The stickers?
they're good stickers. And what the reason I bring that up is because, so we were in that group and then we bonded a little bit. I joked with her a little bit. I was like, I found out she likes country music.
Was it flirting kind of a little bit? Was he flirting? Was that like...
I think that he was the group leader, so he kind of had the, I don't want to say professional cap on, but it was more like he was just trying to do what he was doing. But,
Amicable. What's the word?
Huh?
Amicable?
amicable?
No, okay, don't bring out the thesaurus.
Well, English is also not my first language. So I speak her out to like, but yeah, I mean, I didn't have my headspace in that. Like, that's also like the funny thing, because I wasn't really like, oh, I'm gonna seek her out after this. I thought she was pretty, and we interacted, and like my icebreaker to like talk to people. I'm like, so do you guys like country? Because sometimes people are like, either they hate country or like, oh yeah, it's weird when he's like, it's like whatever. And she was like, yeah, and I'm like, do you like Zach Bryan? And she's like,
No, I didn't know who Zach Bryan was.
But I think you said you heard like something. Point is,
No.
at another time,
Maybe I'd lie.
at another
Don't
event,
lie.
I saw her again, and then she like knew a bunch of his songs.
What did you do?
I listened to Zach Bryan like every day going home from the gym, walking home. I would shuffle. That man has so many songs. But
She was spit. Yeah.
She listened to Zach Bryan because we had another
Zach
event after, and I took my guitar.
this was a month later though,
Yeah, this is months later. But I was like, I remember she kind of knew Zach Bryan. I was like, we got a song. And then she's like, oh, how about From Austin? I'm like, the Zach Bryan one? She's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, wait, what about? And she started saying these ones. And then I was like, she might be the one. I love Zach Bryan. I was like, a lot of times people are like, oh, you know Zach Bryan? Zach Brown Band? Like,
Zach
no,
Brown
it's
Band?
Zach Bryan.
Chicken fried.
So she like, I don't know. That's where I was kind of clicking like, she looks, I don't know. It's kind of too much of a coincidence. Maybe she's also kind of seeing me in a special light. But it wasn't until Congress, where in February, where I think I connected more with you, which is also why I brought up when I met you.
Yeah. We weren't dating then.
No.
Okay.
That
Yes.
comes later. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
No, I was talking about me and Julio weren't dating
yeah,
then.
I know.
no.
Yeah.
we were in the talking stage. That's what was going on. Yeah. And it's funny because when we hung out, a priest was with us. So if anything, we that looked like we were skipping some steps and getting married.
Yeah.
But no.
No, we don't believe in that. But
No. That'll be for our first date. I'll tell you something about that.
But when was that first date? Because how long did it take for him to like get the courage up to like, hey, you know what? You want to go out, or did you have to do the work? Did you have to like say, hey, you know what? Hey, dude.
You need to do some.
It was very, I want to say like easy in the sense that after Congress, I think that us spending a lot of time together, especially when you're spending time together but also growing in the faith at the same time, you kind of have that same sense of direction.
Really getting fed together.
And
spiritually.
Spiritually fed. I think that Congress really opened that up for us. Kind of, we bonded a lot more.
Yeah.
We became really close friends, and we had a lot of things in common. And then I think let's see.
And it helped that she's really pretty, so it just...
Yeah. I think it was about 2 weeks after the end of Congress that he asked me out.
Yeah.
2 weeks after Congress. He was... Oh, you go into that.
It wasn't one of those text, hey.
No.
Like,
it was an intro. The intro was a text. The intro was a text. Because one, I've never asked out a girl. So, I saw the ad for Jesus Revolution, and we had already been texting. So I sent to her, like, oh, I've heard people say this is a good movie. And then she's like, oh, yeah, me too. And so, like, that's where I left. So then later when we would hang out at the Newman Center, I'd be like, oh, I was like, so when are you free? So we could go see the movie.
No, you didn't say it like that.
Yeah?
That's like...
No, you were like...
Like, I want to take you to the movie.
Yeah, I think that was more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was very, like...
Because I would have said no.
Hey,
when are you free?
No, it wasn't
No,
like...
but it was more so like, what's your schedule like, so we could fit in,
you were like, so what's your schedule for the next week? And then I showed you my schedule, and then you asked...
Yeah, and I was like, what about this
Would
day?
you like to see a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you like to see a movie on this day? Would that work for your time? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, you want to take me to the movies?
Yeah, actually, I said, you want to take me to the movies?
My heart dropped. I was like quickly, I was like, yeah, like that's yeah.
That's what we're doing.
And not so to her, but more to like me. I was like, wait, is she like freaking out? Am I like, no, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, I want to take the movies. Like, okay,
very excited.
And then
I never thought of you as the shy guy.
When it comes to girls and other people, I guess. No, I am. I'm kind of. Yeah.
He comes off as very, very. What's the word? Not extroverted.
Yeah.
Like when you first meet him, like he connects with people really easily. But his head's like, people.
Yeah, it was very new to me to like go after.
So obviously she said yes, and you guys went to the movies. That was your first date?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I picked her up after a class, and we went to one of the theaters to see Jesus Revolution, and the theater was empty.
Pretty much.
But then someone walked in, and then so it was but it was very empty, and then we were just kind of awkwardly like leaning our head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was too scared to hold her hand or anything, because I was like, "What's allowed when like people when you're not dating?" You know, like I don't know. I've never.
I know it was very, very new for me too.
You sat there stiff.
Yeah,
watching a movie.
Yeah.
Watching a movie.
But then like there'd be some funny parts, and we'd be like, ah. It'd be like ha ha ha, leaning over. But we already had like previous times where we'd hang out, and then we just like we'd be working together on homework or something, and we'd be pretty close.
Yeah, we'd be like kind of leaning on each other on the couch a little bit.
But now it was more like, okay, now we actually made a move towards something of like romance.
Yeah.
And the thing was, right after the date, I had to go attend to Newman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but then
we had, like right after the movie was over, we had to go to the meeting.
So no debrief or anything.
It's like no debrief evaluation after the movie.
And that was really scary, because I was like, did she enjoy it or anything? But so we went to Newman. I had my guitar. We played a little bit of like some worship songs. She sang with me, which was also really nice. And then after the meeting, was that when we did Alexio?
Yeah.
So I had to lead Lexio with her right next to me, Lexio Divina. So I was also and then we went to Danny's, everyone as a group, but of course we sat next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it was until like later in the day, she's like, oh, by the way, I had a good time with you. And then I was like, this was good.
Do you feel that you needed to do that?
I didn't feel like I needed to do that, like in the sense of like I didn't express enough that I had a good time, or that I felt, well, I'm sure you were nervous, but I didn't think that I had done anything to make it seem like I was uncomfortable or like hadn't had a good time or anything. But I did feel like because I'd had a good time, I wanted him to know I had a good time so that we could go on another date.
Yeah. Were you relieved that she said that?
Yeah, because I was like, what comes next?
Yeah.
Because this is, and up until this point, I'm very close with my parents, but I didn't tell them until like the second date that I was like, it's like there's this girl I really like. So I didn't really know, and I was thinking about asking my dad like what should I do now, you know? And that was kind of like a sign to me of like, okay, this is a good sign that she enjoyed the time. And it wasn't, because I was overly stressing that like is she expecting me to hold her hand? Like, you know, I think you didn't want to buy popcorn. Not like her buy it, but like she didn't want popcorn, so we didn't get popcorn.
Which is really funny because I think it's
which would have been like, I feel easier for me to like, when you're nervous, like you're munching on something. So we didn't have popcorn or anything, but we were kind of like leaning on each other, and I was like, well, that's a good sign, you know, she's not like repelled or anything.
Yeah. So I just want a word of advice to young ladies out there. It is okay, and it's very important to tell the young man that you had a good time. It's actually a very important thing to affirm them, because it's not out of cowardice, but it's kind of like that awkward feeling that we don't know what to do.
I didn't want to guess.
It's like, guys don't know what to do.
Not only that, but like especially
And
the
they don't
guy
want to come
wants
out.
respect.
Yeah, they don't want to come out as toxic or, hey, did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
and I don't want to assume and be like, oh yeah, she definitely like, because obviously I did my part of like trying to be very respectful and like, you know, carry conversation.
Yeah.
But it was nice because it showed me that she was interested.
so was there an official thing where it's like, hey, are we dating, or are we boyfriend, girlfriend, or is that just like, oh, it's like, I guess we are?
No, I did ask her out as like to be my girlfriend after the second date.
The second date was probably where we really, really connected. That, like, our first date was nice because it was our first date.
You should ask, because who asked?
Oh, well,
I asked him on the second date, actually.
wow,
Against the advice of
liberated woman. Yeah,
Free spirit.
I had,
free spirit.
I had different
Glass
advice.
ceiling broken there.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And it was very much like similar. She's like, so like, what's your schedule look like?
It was a very similar thing. Yeah, but I had advice from different people because, of course, I had friends that knew I liked him and went on this date, and I was like, I want to go on another date, but
She's never gonna ask.
No, I was planning on asking her.
I'm sure he was, but I was worried. I also very much overthink, so I was like, oh gosh, did he have a good time? I think you said you had a good time. Yeah, no, you told me, but I overthink, and I
was like, it was cool.
You're like, it was okay. No, but oh gosh, what was I gonna say? I was saying about I asked him. I got different advice. So I had some of my friends saying, or even family members, like, you should, like, don't do that. Like, the guy needs to do it, or something like that. But I was like, he already asked me on the first date, and I know that he's not somebody who's, I don't know, or like I'm not gonna be taking like advantage of anything, or I don't know. I went with my gut on that. That's a really good thing to do, is just trust your gut. If something's telling you that, like, this is really right, then I was like, I want to go after this, because I get scared of taking risks, and I know that God puts me in situations where, like, take more risks and don't be afraid to love. So I asked him on the second date.
Second date, she's like, I love you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. No.
And you were relieved.
So I hadn't told my parents yet, but my coworkers knew, and then one of them was very much, well, do you like her? Yeah. Do you want to go on another date with her? Yeah.
This was after the first date.
He's like, then ask her. And I'm like, I'm planning on it. I'm just trying to find, like, you know, what to do, how, or like, you know. And then I'm like, am I even sure she would want to? And I think, like, that same day, because I work in the mornings and then I'll go to school after, I think that same day she was like, so what do you think about, like, bookstore and food? Yeah. Because we had already talked that, like, we like reading and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Common interests.
And eating.
And eating. You know, we like food.
We both kind of
eating and
survive.
Food. And their background is books.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Oh wow.
Yeah, so we both have a background of books, and I was like, yeah. So she asked me, and I was like, we never really said like, okay, like this is the second date or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like everything was just going. Also, we never told each other that we liked each other.
That was something I was gonna say. We never said, I like you.
I'm still wondering. She likes me.
Still concerned. So is it, do you like me, or do you like me, me?
Yeah, like how did you know?
We had none of that, which, that was,
Everything just kind of flowed.
That's why I say it was easy. It was just kind of like, we fell into a rhythm and, you know.
And the music sounded great.
Yeah. This is where we run the Hallmark music.
Yeah, it's like, but the thing about...
This episode is sponsored by Hallmark.
the thing there is, so we went to that bookstore that she said. I think she finished up. I think you finished up a final. Cause I met you up at a library at the library
probably.
after. And then we walked
class.
to.
I think it was a class, but yeah.
Yeah, and we walked to my car, and then we drove to the one that she suggested. And this was in March.
Oh gosh.
And we go there,
Early March,
and you
yeah.
see like the LGBTQ flag. You see, please wear a mask.
The woman at the front was actually kind of rude and
tarot cards, things like that. And
Of all places, you chose that.
I was like, is there a reason that you went with it? No, and then, but I saw the mask thing, like, please wear a mask, and I'm like, well, sometimes people they have them and it's just outdated. That has and then we walk in and she's like, oh, do you guys have a mask?
Not me, the woman at the front.
Yeah, the lady, and we're like, no. Oh, okay, I have some here. So we had to wear the masks, and I really don't like wearing them because they fog up my glasses. And then, but we're going. He's like, "What kind of books do you like?" I'm like, "Oh, like philosophy and stuff." He's like, "And religion." And he's like, "I had a feeling. Let's go over here." And it's like religion section, and it was like Buddhism was the closest thing there was. Everything else was like tarot cards and things like that.
Yeah.
And then how to make your kid anti-racist, and the whole time I was like,
please keep in mind, you guys, I was not a native to Riverside. I didn't have a car. I just looked at the bookstore online.
Wait, you're not.
No, I'm not Riverside native. I'm from San Diego, San Marcos.
Oh.
So like I genuinely.
She's more Filipina than anything. San Marcos.
Yeah, so like I didn't really know what was gonna be there.
A Google search, no? A Google search.
Yeah, I just went to Google Maps to find a bookstore that was nearby because I knew that you were gonna have to drive because I didn't have a car, and I didn't want you to go far. So I was like, oh, there's a bookstore. This looks cool.
Yeah, and I already got like a friend who told me, he's like, oh yeah, that was not very good, but I never knew why, and I like bookstores. So then it's like, I'm still gonna try it.
It looked like it was a small business, and I was like, okay, that's
like
cool.
a chance for cheap books.
Books.
It's like like
books are great.
The books are cheap, but you pay with with other. It
did not have the at the very least it did not have the comforting like bookstore feel. You felt very much like that woman was just
she was just looking at us the whole time. But
different
the thing
vibe.
is,
it wasn't the right vibe.
And then the thing is, I was just like did she choose this because she likes it? And so then I was just kind of like, oh, kind of. And then she looks at me, she's like, do you want to go? And that's another time aside from like the Zach Bryan thing and everything. I was like, oh, okay, she's also uncomfortable based off everything here.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. And then we went with Plan B, which was to go to downtown Riverside. And then it was raining.
It was raining.
And
this is the Hallmark movie part, you guys.
Things were closed. we
walking
wanted to go
in the rain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
She did it on purpose. She's the stalker. Because I was like, should I get my umbrella? I was like, should I take my umbrella? She's like, no, we should be fine.
It wasn't raining at that point. It was very cloudy though.
Yeah, she knew. Then we walked over and it started raining. And by that time, I think we were already comfortable with holding hands because we held hands while we were in the sidewalk, and then we went to the antique shop because there's books there, but it was closed. So like, so then we walked.
The spontaneity, everyone.
And the game lab was there, in Riverside.
We just walked until we found it.
Yeah, we walked into game lab, and then that was
a fun time.
That was a very fun time. Went to game lab.
Arcade. For those of you that don't know, it's an arcade.
Yeah, arcade date. Without planning to be an arcade date. And then I was like, are you hungry? Food lab is right there. We were there for a solid
3 hours.
3 hours.
Lost track of time.
We lost track of time.
Didn't know who would say, let's go.
Yeah, no, but it was kind of like that. And then,
just talking, yeah.
And then I think they were like, it was really loud. And 3 hours had gone by, and I was like, you want to go to Applebee's? So we could keep talking? And then
he went to the food lab. Spent 3 hours. Hey, let's go out to eat.
Yeah, no.
We're secretly hobbits.
So then, because that was also kind of bold of me, because I was like, does she still want to hang out? But it seemed like we were flowing. She's like, yeah. So we went to Applebee's, and we were there for a good while. I don't remember how long we were there.
I don't remember either.
And then...
It was a while.
But I was like, Applebee's is cool. They have a happy hour. You get half off appetizers. Apparently not in the big sampler one.
We got the sampler. I thought it was half off. It was not.
Yeah. But it was fine. Like, it was...
A $20 sampler.
At that point, I was not thinking. I was, like, in the clouds. And then we were just in the parking lot. And while we were at the food lab, we started a playlist. Remember? Mm-hmm. With the song, like, oh, I remember this song. And it was, like...
Just songs that from, like, our childhood that we remember. Just random songs.
So we started the playlist, and then We just ended
car
them.
karaoke jams.
Then we go in the car and we were just like singing to these songs. And I was like, dang, I need to get gas. And I was like, what if she wants to go, but like I'm driving, so she's not gonna say anything. So I was like, do you want to go get gas with me? Because I'm gonna go. So then we go get gas, and then I take
2.0 gas.
Yeah, and then I take her back, but like it wasn't that. It didn't seem that she wanted to leave.
No.
And now I found out she. But yeah, it was everything. It was very spontaneous and flowing, and
It was completely spontaneous. The only thing that had been planned really was the bookstore, and then everything else was
backup plans,
Everything just clicked.
random. The most random, but it was like, yeah,
divine appointments.
How long has it been?
9 months tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Month anniversary.
Month anniversary. We haven't been together for a year yet, but
Yeah, March 17th is when we started.
March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's
It's
Day.
just funny because I was nervous to ask her out during Lent because I don't know why I had gotten in my head about that.
He was like, I am not going to ask anyone out during Lent.
I was like, that. I was like, should I wait for Lent to be over?
Because I can't bring flowers, because flowers are not allowed.
Yeah, I was like, this is kind of a celebration, you know? I really like her. And then I saw on Instagram that the bishop gave a dispensation for St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, this is my sign. So we went to Tim Boba. It's not a sponsor. But we went to get boba, and then I was like, I don't know right now, because I think she was doing homework in there. And
At
then I
the
was
shop,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like right now I should. And then I'm driving her back, and then I was like, so? And then, yeah.
He drops a line from St. Patrick's and said, by the way, there's a dispensation.
Yeah.
Dispensation.
I was like, you could eat meat today, you know? You don't have to, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Here's some. So how'd you ask her out?
just
How'd you ask her? Just
very,
say, hey.
very much, yeah, in the car. I was just,
Yeah, it's in the car before I was gonna leave, and
because you're getting picked up by your
I was
parents.
gonna
right?
get picked up by my parents too, because I think I had a family event to go to, so I knew I wasn't gonna see him that weekend, at all. And then he just was like, you want to be my girlfriend? Like, kind of just asked like that, and I was like, yeah. Yeah.
But it kind of happened like very like swiftly, and to the point where afterward I was very like gleeful. Like that drive back, I was super smiley, and then I was just like, did that happen? Like I was like, I haven't heard from her in like 2 minutes.
I totally
Is
skipped
she-
back to the dorms.
Is she like? I did it. Like I was like, I know I asked it, but did it come out that way? Like, and then, yeah, I think she showed me then that she changed my contact to novio, and I was like, okay, wait, yeah, this did happen. I wasn't imagining it.
Yeah.
That was this official start.
That's such a Hallmark giddy story. It's like,
Yeah.
it's one of those, like, aw. It's like everyone's listening to that. Aw, I want that. I want that. I want to go to like a little weird bookstore that I didn't like and end up playing arcade games and
Yeah,
Arcade
eating
games are
and
because one thing where you bond over is like things that you like,
fun.
that you have in common, but also something that was like discomfort that you share. We were very uncomfortable in that bookstore, and when I found out that she was also uncomfortable,
Yeah.
it was I don't know.
that's so funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
Because if you think about it, it could have gone easily two ways. And it went the Hallmark movie way. But it should have been like, oh my gosh, I love it here. Like, I do tarot cards all the time. I'd be like, oh, you know.
Would you like me to read your...
Would you like me to read you tarot cards?
It's like, I actually knew we were going to come
What
here.
is your sign?
Yeah. And then I was like, a cross.
He's like, stop.
Stop sign.
Stop sign.
It's like, stop sign.
Yeah, so it was just everything flowed very nicely. And then, yeah, I don't know, just God's providence looking back.
And now you guys are inseparable. And
Yeah.
all your friends are like, can please?
Yep.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
In some cases.
It's like, has that, now that you are in a relationship and a committed relationship, a godly relationship, have you found it difficult to balance time with your buddies and your girlfriends and each other?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm kind of a people pleaser in the sense that especially if I know that somebody is like wanting to hang out with me, then, of course there was a time before Julio when I was single and I would have my social circle and I'd be with them all the time. At least when I wasn't studying. Sometimes when I was studying. And then when Julio came along, I ended up spending a lot more time with him. I was still able to study with him and focus and everything like that. So I spent a lot more time with him. And sometimes it's still something that I work on now, is trying to make sure that I'm able to still spend time with other people or anything like that. Mostly because I don't want anyone to feel left out. But because I every moment that I'm with him is a real blessing. So, yeah, I kind of have to go against myself because I would rather just hang out with you. But yeah.
Yeah, it's also like for the other person to, because I wouldn't want my friends to resent her if I don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I've never really had a big circle to like, and then most of my close friends, like from high school, they'd be in relationships. So then now it's just like, now I joined that group, and I'm like, I get it when like you can't hang out or you didn't want to go to the gym with me because you went with your girlfriend. And now I'm like, I get it because I'm in that position too. But I also try with other friends reaching out, and it's difficult too because sometimes when we're free on an individual level, the other friends might not be. So then as much as you want to hang out with people, it gets difficult.
Yeah.
But it kind of helps also when like she goes, I mean it's not that fun that she goes to San Marcos and like we're far away,
but yeah, no.
but it's also like in a sense we go back to different kinds of worlds where we can't really participate with each other, so we can hang out. Like you spend more time with family,
with my family or friends back at home. Yeah.
And it's just, and even then when I hang out with my friends, topic of conversation
is Isabel.
It's like relationships.
But that comes with, I guess, the thing I'm saying is developing boundaries with each other. And when I told us, I'm going to ask him about boundaries, you can't talk about sex. I was like, who said I was going to ask him about sex?
Oh, whoa.
This is a Catholic podcast.
This is a Catholic.
It's like, so
Catholics
Catholics don't talk about sex. You know, everything's immaculate. No, but boundaries, I mean, friends, family, because sometimes you get into a new relationship, you're so into each other that you tune out everybody else, and then, then that becomes the cause of division because now you've lost all your friends because you basically have pushed everyone out because it's just the two of you and everyone's like, well.
Yeah. And oftentimes it's those friends who like have been there before the relationship that like have been super supportive, and we don't want to leave them on the sideline. And that's where it comes to like, there's a particular friend, if you're watching this, but he like, we never tell each other that we like each other. But she told our friend that she liked
we had a mutual friend.
and he called me. He's like, hey,
he snitched
she
you
likes
out.
you.
He did.
But she planned that.
No,
because she knew he would snitch her.
Oh yeah, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So call him. But
it's like, he's never gonna ask me. I'm gonna tell his friend. That's a plan.
No, that was literally okay. I'm gonna interject right here, but that because it was after a Newman meeting, and this was a friend of ours who's Catholic, and
that was the Dino Nuggies day, huh?
That was Dino Nuggies day. We got Dino Nuggies. It was great.
It was my excuse to hang out with her.
Yeah.
I was like, do you want to maybe, because she had said that she wanted dinosaur chicken nuggets.
T-Rex?
Yeah. So then she's like, can we? And I was like, okay. So I was like, now I have an in to hang out with her. And I was like, you want to hang out? You want to go before the meeting to Foods for Less? Because it's like right there.
Grab some frozen Dino Nuggies.
Dino Nuggies, we could eat them. And then I was like,
they were soggy. It was not good, but it was
microwave.
Great.
Yeah.
Microwave them.
But we were with each other. They're the best food.
Do not microwave the chicken nuggets.
And it was, I was like, what is she? Again, my overthinking. I was like, I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable, so I invited our other friend. And then
this was before dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was before dating.
He brought a third wheel.
Or any dates, yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about me inviting him?
I was very excited to hang out with you, and when you invited him, the thing is I knew why you would, because I knew you enough to know that, like, okay,
I didn't want to make you
didn't want to make me feel uncomfortable, or like you didn't want to make it feel like a date thing without being officially like, hey, is this a date?
I was still testing the waters, like how you would react to me.
Of course I was like, I want to hang out with you, but at the same time, this is another friend of ours, and we all have fun together. Yeah, so
He'll be like, why did you say my name? But he saw us interact, and we were very much like, oh, like. So then afterward, when I dropped them off, because they live.
I had the dorm, and then
dorm.
he has an apartment on campus that's like right next to where mine is. So he would walk me to my dorm to make sure I got in there because it was night, and then go back to his apartment. And on that walk back, he was like, so you and Julio, huh? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? No, actually, that's not what I was like. I was like, yeah, I like him. Genuinely. He was like, so you like Julio? I was like, yeah, no, I like him. And I think he actually said, like, so if I told him, I was like, tell him, go ahead.
Actually, I didn't know that part.
No, I think I'm pretty sure. We'll have to ask him later because I might be making that up. But unintentionally. But I'm pretty
She had
sure.
nothing planned.
I'm pretty sure I had said something like, go ahead. Or, I don't mind. I think I said, I don't mind.
And I was driving toward my house. I hadn't even been that long. And I was thinking, because prior to that, he had asked me, he's like, so, Isabella. And then, like, we talked, and he's like, do you want me to find out? And I was like, no. You know, I don't want, like, that. I don't want it to be like that or anything, you know? Like, and so I dropped him off, and as I was driving away, I was like, why'd I tell him that? He could be, like, finding out right now, and then I could just ask him.
Wingman.
And then, soon enough, I get the call. Like, hello? Dude, she likes you. And I was like, I told you not to. But yeah? I was like, okay. So, but even then, like, even after knowing, I don't even know if you knew, like, that I knew that you liked me based off him, but did you know that I liked you?
I figured.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember a specific instance in which he told me, or anyone else told me.
Someone told you?
No.
Oh.
But, or which anyone told me.
Yeah.
But,
Julio, you're obvious.
Yeah.
yeah.
I also wanted it to be obvious.
Like, the thing is, he wanted.
Because my thinking was too, is like, I don't want to make it secretive, you know, that I liked her. Because, yeah, so, so but I never acknowledged it, like, hey, I know you like me. Or I wasn't like, so do you like me or anything like that?
So.
But that friend, he's been super supportive, and like, him in particular, like, I think of.
Yeah. He's
super busy with things. And then
STEM majors.
Yeah. So it's hard to like also align our calendars to be able to hang out.
Dude was a matchmaker.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, God bless him. He
was.
Was.
He is.
He is.
He is
a
he was our matchmaker.
He was our matchmaker, but yeah.
But he's so great. And you know, even more so now that she's going home for the break, I'm like even more like, hey, you're gonna be on break, let's hang out.
Yeah.
And because it's like, I know from like family members that, you know, people get married and later you still have them as friends on Facebook. They have as friends on Facebook, and you find out that they pass away. Like that's kind of what happened recently with one of my dad's friends. And it's like, he was telling me, he's like, I don't really. It's like those times when you look back and you don't really realize when the contact kind of started separating.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, this was just last night too, when and I was, I don't want there to be a moment where I look back and I'm like, I could have done more to reach out to, you know, especially for these people that have been there prior to my now.
So now you guys, your family obviously knows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're supportive.
Very much. Yeah.
And you've met them.
You met mine before I met yours.
I met his before. Yeah. Well, that makes some more sense because I was up in Riverside for a longer period of time. And then about 2.
It was May.
Yeah, May.
It
so
was
2 months after.
the Cinco de Mayo thing.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
Isabella, you shared earlier, we had a discussion that, you know, you're not proficient in Spanish, and Julio's mom, she's not proficient in English at all either.
Yeah.
So how do you communicate?
So, well, God bless Julio for being, he speaks both languages. So and so does his dad as well when he's there.
So when he's not there, he also speaks the language.
Yeah. But so whenever they're present, that really helps with translation. But also, just I think that because we both have that kind of thing of, I can understand Spanish, like some Spanish, pretty well, so I can follow along when they're all having a conversation. But I get very nervous to speak Spanish or to try to speak Spanish. I'm getting better at it, but
Spanish 4.
oh gosh, I tested into Spanish 4. That's another story, you guys. I outsmarted myself. I'm scared, but anyways. So I think because I have kind of a fear of like speaking Spanish and messing up or any of that, but she also has the same kind of fear the other way, or like maybe at least, just the same kind of a barrier, but just with my language. And I think that's something that we kind of are able to bond over. I mean, everyone else in your family can speak English, like your immediate family can speak English. Alex, your dad, you. So,
yeah. Alex is my brother.
Alex is his brother, yes. And,
Younger.
yeah, it's kind of a beautiful thing that we have to bond over and to know, like, we both know that we very much want to speak to one another. Like, that's kind of, it's pretty apparent in our interactions, is we both want to get to know the other more. And it comes across in little ways, whether...
They have inside jokes.
We have inside jokes.
And it's about you.
Yeah. They're like, they don't know the smelly. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
No, but yeah, no, you guys have. They find ways, and like oftentimes, like the ways that they do find, it isn't even through me. Like when I'm there, I've always.
You help. Yeah.
Because it's always been like since elementary school, I was like a second grader, and like how to explain to my mom, like, oh, okay, dice que esto y esto y lo otro, and then. It's like oftentimes I don't even know these words, so I've like grown up with that, and I know how it could seem for when a whole group of people are speaking one language you can't understand, and then you're just kind of there. So I was like, I tell my mom this and this, or while we're watching a movie, this he said this, and it's like, oh, okay, and it's also like rewarding seeing my mom like, okay, like understanding it. So now it's like here with this situation, sorry, not with this, with you, with this situation, it's just sometimes I forget because I get caught up in conversation. Mm-hmm. Like last night we were talking, and I was like, "Oh, Mama dijo Isabela que esto," and then I was like, "Oh, my mom was saying that this," and then both of them have a similar. My mom was like, "Oh yeah, okay," and then she's like, "Ah," so there's that kind of same realization. But the way I was thinking about it is like, my friend recently went to for Immaculate Conception. He went to Chinese mass. He does not speak Chinese. He's like, but you still kind of know everyone's there for the same purpose, everyone's trying.
Yeah.
So I was still able to participate. And like, my mom isn't like snooty about Isabella and I being able to speak Spanish, and my mom attempts to speak English. So it's just very much that mutual desire.
I love that, and I love how you've always been inclusive and almost make sure that your mom was included in everything, because that's important. My mom also, English is her second language, and that fact that you don't want them to feel left out, because a lot of time that's how, when you look at when you look at people who are the language that the predominant group is speaking, they're not understanding. They just sit back, just like when we were kids and we didn't understand. You just sat back and you're like, become part of the wall. So that's beautiful testimony of your love for your mom, and I think that's the reason why you and his mom get along, because you guys share one thing. It's your love of this. I am the first person who said that word love. It's like, what is wrong with the two of you? But
I was gonna say that too. I was like, not to like toot my own horn, but that is they're what bonds them is that they really care and love me.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
So like, and there's like things that like we were saying, we share background in books, but also eating. You don't have to be too intricate with your language to know. Burrito. Yeah. Tacos. Yeah. And then my mom would
Eucharist.
Yeah. Misa. Sí, no. And then so that's when they start like they'll just start having inside jokes too, like I'd constantly be asking. We were eating, like, you want cheese? No, you want cheese? And now my mom, when she sees Isabella, she's like, Isabella, you want cheese? And so, like, that's like now their thing.
That's our joke.
But it's like, it's not a reason for resentment that from any side. Because I know oftentimes there's the classic stereotype of the mother-in-law, you know. And one thing that I always like looked up to my dad for is he gave my grandma a very nice, what would it be? My mom is someone who interacts with my grandma very nicely, and I think that's like a very inspirational thing of my dad to do. He didn't bring home some like some messed up person. It's like my mom. I really admire my mom and my dad for those things.
Yeah, someone witnessed really greatly on how to have a relationship and how to develop that and how to love the other. I think that's beautiful. So, and our theme for this 5 years, for this 5th year of the podcast is seeking. It's like seek the summit. So, do you feel that at this point of obviously all your young life, you've always seek someone who would be a companion? I think this might be that summit that you see Christ in each other, that this is something that you go past dating and move on to courtship?
Yeah. No, I think
she's like, yeah, maybe.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Like
I can continue stalking.
Yeah, it's not like I didn't have this planned already. We're right on schedule.
My timeline is going well, guys.
It's all in the cards.
It's all in the tarot cards.
It's all in the tarot
I read
cards.
this in the cards yesterday. I think that one thing that has really brought us together quite clearly is our faith. And of course there's a goal with dating as a Catholic, and that's, well, one of the first and foremost goals is the sanctification of the other person. I think is one of the summits that we like to talk about a lot. For us is like, I want to do good by you, and that is with love, and so everything that I want to do to like sanctify him, and I know that he works the same kind of way toward me, and that goes with everything, whether it's setting boundaries or just knowing how to love somebody, willing the good of the other,
and learning together.
Yeah,
because as beautiful as you are, if you weren't Catholic, it would have been like, I would have seen you in a class or something, and who knows if we would have sparked conversation. And like that, like we were saying with her and my mom, their bonding factor was like the love for me.
Yeah. Our
Our uniting factor was like our love for Christ.
Yeah.
And like I remember one of the things at Congress, when I went out with you and Father Partida, that was, I didn't go to that mass. Remember there was a mass going on? And
The young adult mass.
Yeah, with the liturgical dancing. And I somehow like escaped their group, and then I was like, dang it, I lost Isabella. She was like, she went to mass, but they asked her like, oh, like didn't you already go to mass or something? And she's like, oh, can never have too much Jesus. And I was like, okay, that's attractive. She loves Jesus. But it was like certain like things I picked up on that, on top of like a really nice personality, it seemed that it rooted from a genuine desire to grow in the faith and like love more. And that's something that like, even though I wasn't, when I met her and when everything happened, I wasn't looking for a relationship.
No, I wasn't. I don't know.
But I always knew I had my reversion more so in 2020, where I was like, I took my faith more seriously. But even before that, I was like, I'd hope that she'll be Catholic, because how am I gonna how's the marriage gonna work if my parents are Catholic, they're gonna want a misa, but I didn't understand why or anything, so it's more of a cultural thing. Then 2020, well, even before that, I was like, people don't have the same values as I do,
right.
And I don't know how is there a club I could go to where like, oh, okay, you think that these things are wrong, and like, but you are still a cool person. Turns out there is, and it's called Catholicism. And I was getting ready to graduate at school, and I was like, I don't think I'm finding someone at college. So like that was already out of the question.
Because you were in your 4th year.
Yeah, he was in his 4th year. We didn't start dating until almost the last quarter. His last quarter.
Last 2 quarters. Well, yeah.
It was your last quarter there.
Yeah, because I graduated a quarter early.
So.
And, everything
the end of that quarter, yeah.
That's why I really do think, like, it was all God's providence of, I met her. I told my freshman English teacher, it's like, I think a good place to meet someone is a library inside a gym inside a Catholic church. Because they like school, they're studious, they like working out, and they're Catholic. I met her at church. I found out she likes working out. She reads, she writes. And then her personality wasn't like, oh. I don't know, like, I had a stereotype for, like, how Catholics were before my reversion. I was like, hey, brother, you want to come over? And, like, I don't know. And now it's like, people just, like, talk, but we're united by Christ. And it was just beyond that. Then meeting her, I found this new ability to love differently and more. And I told her yesterday, we were praying, and, like, I do feel that because of her, I'm able to love Jesus more. Because Father Mike Schmitz had put it like, your capacity to love. And I feel like my capacity to love and be loved grew through her, because of her.
Gee, thanks.
Wow. It's almost Christmas.
Play Mariah Carey.
Play Mariah Carey.
That waiting, that Advent moment of a relationship.
Yeah, it was just very... And then talking about things like... We were talking about it, like, we did kind of go kind of fast. Yeah. But it was all natural.
At least with, like, the talking, like...
Like, yeah. Like, we asked pre-dating questions once we were dating.
Yeah. What were they?
Like, do you have any trouble with, like, church teaching? And everything was fine.
Tell us those 3. Because I think people who are looking for a relationship that is similar to yours or just like yours, or how do I find a person who is of my faith, of my belief, who I can grow in my faith with? And you mentioned 3 questions. So you can't leave.
3 questions I mentioned?
Yeah, you said 3 things.
No, I said pre.
Oh, pre-questions.
Pre-dating questions.
Okay.
Were asked until after we started dating.
Okay, so what are some of those pre-dating questions?
So the most important one was, like, is there anything with the Catholic teaching that you find yourself struggling with? Because, if, like, one of my passions is to defend the unborn. Mm-hmm. So if that was something that, like, I was very nervous to bring up abortion around her.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that. Because I was scared that she might be, on the other side of the fence than I was, than what the church teaches. She wrote a paper about why women
need to be more informed before making the decision of an abortion.
Like, she's out here defending church teaching in school. I admire her. I've told her a lot. She's very much pro-life, and, like, that's another thing that made me fall for her too. But it was just that kind of thing, like, because when you start before dating, it's like, what's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? Oh my gosh, you like Zach Bryan?
Yeah, if you were an animal, what would you be? But then you start getting more into the weeds of things, like, what's been your example of a good relationship? Yeah, that was one of them that we really talked about.
Yeah,
my wife asked me that.
Yeah,
27 years ago. How would you make this relationship work? Succeed?
Yeah,
I was like, wow, mine was 20 questions.
20 questions.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually like one gives rise to another, even if you don't have them ready.
Yeah. But I think that's important. I think it's very important for couples to go into a relationship to ask those difficult questions to each other, questions that linger.
Yeah.
My mom said, make sure you marry someone. Date someone with a purpose.
Yeah.
Date someone with a purpose. And I remember when I was dating even my wife, my sister called me and says, are you dating that person for what purpose?
Yeah.
Because as a young person back in my hedonistic days, I dated women for one purpose. Mm-hmm. It was just to get with a girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I had a later reversion to the faith.
Yeah.
And that was due to my wife, who asked me 20 questions. She got to 7. And she said, fine, I say yes. But it's important.
For me.
As she said, it's important for us. And my wife is very much of an introvert. But with her, it's very important to ask those difficult questions, because if you're the person that I end up with, I don't want to regret it.
Yeah.
And I don't want the fact that I didn't ask a question I should have asked. So, advice to young people out there, ask the question.
Oh, yeah.
Because you might find that the person that you like physically is a creep.
Yeah.
Or creeper. Or stalker.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, like I've come to like love that side of her, the stalker part.
It's called Stockholm.
You guys are too cute. You guys are too cute.
No, that was,
What final advice would you give to young listeners or young adults out there, or even people who are still trying to look for that companion? What advice would you give them if you could?
I have something that came to mind with what we were recently discussing about, like, talking about questions. Don't compromise your morals just because you like somebody. That's something that I feel like growing up, especially in our society, you kind of feel the need to just like find somebody, just find somebody, like the first person that you can find, even if it's not the first person that you find, but anybody who likes you back.
Yeah.
'Cause you want that kind of, you want that like affection, you want that attention, you want somebody who cares about you, and that's a great thing, is to want somebody to care about you just as much as you want to care about somebody else. But when you are asking those questions to people, and when you do find somebody that you're interested in, if there's something about them that you find you're uncomfortable with, or if there's something they do that you don't like, and you know that it's a part of not their identity, because people change, but if that's a key part of what makes them kind of who they are in a way, don't be afraid to look elsewhere, because cutting yourself off from one possibility it might close that door, but that doesn't mean that's the only door that's there. There's thousands of other doors. There are many fish in the sea, as the saying goes. And like you were saying about regret, you don't want to end up regretting being with the person you're with. You don't want them, and for them too, if you don't like something about them, you don't want them to resent you for it either. It's really about making sure you find somebody with the same morals. And that's why I feel like especially Catholic relationships in the faith work so well, is because you have the same morals. And morals they're what drive us and ground us in who we are. We make decisions for ourselves and our lives, and for the people around us based on those morals. So you want to make sure that you're not compromising your morals for the sake of someone else. Just like you were saying, you find like Christ in me, like your love for Christ grow. That's how I feel about you, and my morals are centered in the faith. So when I see you acting on more of those things, or bringing that out in me, it not only makes me love you more, but it makes me feel more confident in myself in a way, like a really healthy confidence of knowing that my morals are not something that I should ever be ashamed of or feel like I need to sacrifice, because I can be myself with you. Yeah, be yourself with the person. Fully. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's a long speech.
Yeah, if you find someone that you're stalking who isn't right fit, stalk
the
next person.
My gosh.
No, it's true though. Like, you don't wanna. I went through a phase of reading a lot of like self-help books, and like, so I'd be like, oh, this. And one of the things that stuck with me, like Jeff Bezos, is I forgot how we called it, but like looking back and trying to have the least amount of regrets as possible, and then that kind of goes with that. But like you were saying, ask the hard questions, because asking the question is scarier, but the alternative is much scarier.
Mm-hmm. Consider your future.
if you don't ask, and then like you go along with it, you're kind of part of the blame for, I don't want to say unsuccessful relationship, if like they end up getting married, but it could be a dreadful one. But even then, there's things that could be worked on, like talk about the things. And I also like, I tell her too, like, if there's something that I do that bothers you, tell me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't want to, I wouldn't want you to continue doing something that really bugs me. Like, I don't know, she does it, but if she chews with her mouth open for like something trivial, like if I wait until years down the road, like, oh my gosh, it drives me crazy. It's like, you never told me that. Why are you barely telling me? Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like same thing. Like, tell me if you don't like the way I sometimes I joke a lot. I joke a lot. If sometimes too much, you know, tell me like, hey, tone it down. But like, don't let it get to a point where you just explode. And the thing that I really would say is like, have that common goal. Because like you were saying, like, what is this going towards? And a lot of reasons I think that relationships, you know, there's many reasons, but one of the top ones is sometimes one person wants one thing and the other person wants the other. And then it's like, what? You didn't have that established in the beginning, like what you guys were doing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the JBP word, but he always says, like, know what you're aiming at. And that comes in with one person, you know, if you're working out, you know, you want to look like Arnold or something, know at least that you have a tangible goal. But it also works with two people, you know, you're both going towards a certain goal. And when you're dating or you're courting, you know, your goal is marriage. Yeah. But that's not the final goal. Yeah. Because after marriage, it's like, okay, we're done.
It's not a Disney movie. It's not, and they lived happily ever after.
Because a lot of people see marriage as just a wedding day.
Yeah.
Wait for like, season 2.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the Hallmark movie, and then, you know, like it restarts or something. And that's the thing. It's not always happy, you know, lovey-dovey.
Love is not a feeling, it is a choice.
Yeah, it's like choose the person every day. I tell her, like, a lot of things that you do help me also make the decision easier, but like I choose you more and more every day. And yeah, we're early on, but like I do think like as so far as we know our goal and we choose to choose each other, that's eventually, I feel like, our formula for
love is an action word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A verb. Love is a verb. I think there's a song like that.
I just verbed that out. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
No,
you guys are super cute together.
Glory to God.
And the fact that, you know, as I sit here, as I watch your youth and as young people, and the way that you look at each other, and the way that you're actually right now finishing each other's sentences, and it's like, you know, the quote unquote, all the typical, they finish each other's sentences, but it's not just that, it's that your thought process match, because you said you have a common goal. And as you said, that you're heading towards the sanctification of each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's what most people who are looking for a relationship that's what's missing. They're looking for a companion.
Yeah.
They're looking for someone, you know, that whole thing is that they're looking for someone to complete them.
Exactly, yeah.
And you're not supposed to be searching to be completed, but who do you grow in holiness with, and the direction? It says, you know, where are you pointing your direction? The direction is towards heaven. Yeah. So that's where you're supposed to be leading your companion, your lover, your spouse is towards heaven, because that's our ultimate goal. That is the summit, is to be there with Christ himself. Yeah. And so I want to thank you guys for coming on this episode. I mean, we could go to season 2, season 3, and just talk forever, but it is an hour episode.
Oh my gosh!
That was one of our goals.
Has it been an hour?
It's a little bit over an hour.
Oh my gosh!
But that is a great thing with really great conversations, is that, you know, just like your relationship, it's like, you know, we're already at Applebee's. So I love hearing this love story of yours. You know, I will keep both of you in my prayers and my family's prayers, that this flourishes. And I'm going to ask the Blessed Mother to always carry and cover you in her mantle of love, because this is a great example of what our young people need, of what our older people should be striving also for. And it's a beautiful thing. So on that note, fam, I think we're on that camera. On that note, fam, that concludes this episode of This Connected, because totally these two connected, and I'm amazed. I love, I'm a sucker for love stories, and this is not just Catholic hallmark, it is the hallmark of a relationship. Things learned, take notes of what they talked about. It is a beautiful thing. And again, on that note, that concludes this episode. Again, if you have any comments, complaints, concerns, or even great things that you want to say to these two, email us at catholic.dad50@gmail.com. If you want to support us in this podcast, you can go to our Patreon and be a sponsor of the podcast, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. I forget what they say. Ding it. Click on whatever, like it, subscribe, whatever. We need it. We need the help. Okay. And as we always say, as we always end this podcast, we're always saying, please pray for us. We'll be praying for you. And as always, be blessed and be third. We'll see you at the next episode.
Different points of view and highs and lows, a new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind and drown with the noise of different generations of the girls and boys. So sit back and relax, this Catholic podcast. Don't overreact if the thoughts are abstract. When it's hosted by Catholic.Dad, who knows what's gonna happen?
Hey, what's up, fam?
Different points of view and highs and lows, a new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind and drown with the noise, and see if this connected.
What's up, fam? To connect generations and situations about faith, life, and whatever comes along the way.
Expect runaway thoughts like a runaway train. Break into conversation like links of a chain. Make a Hail Mary pass, hope this connects. Have a question for a guest, put it to rest. Live a life of holiness, lead by example. Follow at Catholic.Dad and Mini Tangled. Christ leads our way, he's the good shepherd. Pray for one another, be blessed, and be there. Different points of view and highs and lows, a new perspective everywhere you go. Open up your mind and drown with the noise, and see if this connected.
Ta-da!
Awesome.
Bye.
So I gotta make sure I press stop there.
You're like, oh, no, I didn't put record.
Stop.